All right, we're going to go ahead and call this special meeting to order. It is now 10 o'clock on May 23rd. This is just for the case number 2025-038. We're going to go ahead and get roll call, please, so I can.
Commissioner Vidal,
Here.
Commissioner Freeman,
Here.
Commissioner Carter, here. Commissioner Engelke,
Here.
Commissioner Stokes,
Here.
Commissioner White, absent. Commissioner Ware, absent.
Claire.
And
Kirkley.
Commissioner Kirkley, absent, sorry.
Works. All right, if everyone will stand, we'll go ahead and do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, I thank everyone for being here. We'll go ahead and this case number 2025-038 is for a site plan approval request for a commercial building. This case is requested by Susan Stout Architect LLC to build two commercial buildings on a parcel at the northwest corner of Interstate Boulevard and Express Drive. I will now turn this over to our director for staff presentation.
Thank you. So up on the screen, we have the aerial view of the property. It's vacant land right now, grass mostly, and then some trees up on the northwest part of that lot. On the next image, that's the zoning. This lot itself is M1, and which is light industrial in the zoning ordinance. So the lots to the northwest and south are C4 commercial zones, and then the lots to the east and southeast are planned business park. The land uses nearby consist of a mix of hotels and warehouses, and so the anticipated land use for this lot is going to be appropriate for the zoning of the area. So for the site plan details, the overall site plan is the overall parcel is approximately 1.73 acres according to DeSoto County GIS. The two proposed buildings will face Interstate Boulevard with one building sitting behind the other. The reason for this is due to the elevation of the land, and the lowest point on the parcel naturally lies in the southwest corner of the lot, so this is where the drainage area will need to be. It should be noted that the developer intends to build this out in two phases. The developer is seeking to only build the building that is drawn closer to Interstate Boulevard at this time, and so is primarily presenting the details of that building for approval. The building and parking area that is to be built at a later time is depicted in a lighter shade on the drawing. So planning staff will consider this phasing request to be acceptable as long as the developer comes back to the Planning Commission to present the second building in detail at a later time. As for now, we're confident that we can approve the first phase without causing any future complications for the second phase, as we're currently being given the basic layout for the whole site anyway. So one entrance and exit is proposed on the Interstate Boulevard side, and one entrance and exit is proposed on Expressway Drive. The developer will build sidewalks along both Interstate Boulevard and Expressway Drive for the entirety of both frontages. One multi-tenant sign will be constructed at the landscaped corner of the intersection, facing the traffic moving along Interstate Boulevard. 40 regular spaces will be provided. 2 handicap spaces are required in addition to these spaces, and they will be provided. The plan shows that all regular parking spaces will be 10 feet wide by 20 feet long. We will need to see clarification that the handicap spaces will be 12.5 feet by 20 feet long. If this cannot fit, the planning staff is fine with the developer removing one of the regular spaces in the front and not adding one anywhere else. We're definitely open to shifting the amount of parking spaces, locations, and numbers. We'll get with you on the handicap requirements. It's just something we found in our city ordinance that goes a little extra. Shown above on the next image is the east elevation. This will be the front of the building facing Interstate Boulevard. There will be 5 suites available. The address, once it's assigned, will be placed between Suite 2 and Suite 3. But all that can be changed during the sign permitting process. A sufficient amount of glass will be on the facade. The wall material proposed is fiber cement panels, which is an acceptable wall material. The coloring of the top area will be bark, and the coloring of the bottom will be gray. Shown above is the west elevation. That'll be the back of the building. The applicant is proposing, according to this image here, 4 garage doors measuring 12 feet in height for receiving truck deliveries. 5 regular doors will be provided, as there will be 5 suites. The back is proposed to be metal paneling. This does not appear to conform to the requirement that all exterior sides shall be surfaced equivalent to the front of the building. However, the Planning Commission may determine that this is in some way equivalent to the front. Shown on the next image, shown above is the south elevation. This side will face Expressway Drive. Windows will only be provided near the entrance. This does not appear to meet the 20% glass requirement for the entire elevation. While planning staff acknowledges that there is at least some glass on this side, the real concern was the differing architectural styles on the whole facade. Planning staff suggested that perhaps the left side of this facade could have more design elements that match the right side. The right side will be fiber cement panels in the same coloring scheme as the front, which is bark on top and gray on bottom. This proposal may look great in reality, but it is hard to tell from just the black and white drawings we have received if it will really translate in reality. So we do not have any strict requirements on architectural styles or percentages of building material on a building. So it's hard to force any design changes if that's what any of us desire. Interestingly, when looking at all the facades together, the majority of the building is metal siding, with less than half of the building being fiber cement panels with windows. So perhaps the combination of all these together is itself a new architectural style. If the Planning Commission agrees that all exterior sides are surfaced equivalent to the front of the building, then these 4 elevations shown in this report will be acceptable. Otherwise, the whole building may need to have fiber cement panels on some parts of each or fully on each side. So shown above there is the north elevation. This is the side that will face the hotel property to the north. As this will not face a roadway, windows are not required and not proposed on this side. Here we have the overall drainage plan. So it appears that all the drainage will be on the surface and flow toward the pond area in the southwest corner of the lot. There needs to be clarification on whether there will be any subsurface drainage infrastructure carrying water to the southwest part of the lot, or if all water will move on top of the lot towards that drainage pond. And in the next image, we have a close-up of this drainage area. Shown above is a closer view of the pond area. It appears the drainage for the whole site will collect in the spot, and it appears there will be a drainage pipe connecting this pond to the natural area on the parcel nearby. Overall, it appears there may be a lot of water flowing toward the southwest corner of this lot. There are concerns about whether the surface water in the parking area will flow into the roadway or flow into the drains carried to the pond. We will need more clarifications in the drawings. There is also concern about where the water will go if the pond ever does go over its capacity. We understand everything will eventually flow towards Horn Lake Creek, but there are concerns about how the water will get there and how it may flood areas before that point. We believe the site plan can be approved on the condition that the city's hired engineering firm afterward reviews all drainage plans in depth and gives their approval of it before any building permits. With any advised changes that our engineering firm comes up with being allowed without having to revisit the planning commission. And so landscaping is only proposed on Interstate Boulevard. The large space on the southwest corner of the lot will be for drainage, so that's why it's not landscaped. And then the species of the 4 large trees being planted will be red maple, which is native and it is acceptable. In conclusion, planning staff is comfortable with this proposal. There is a great need for more small to medium-sized retail / office / restaurant spaces that are not attached to gas stations. It's furthermore good to see this corner not become another drive-through restaurant with excessive parking. Additionally, it is great to see that these retail spaces will share parking, as this is a more efficient way of using land. This proposal could give the city the opportunity to gain 5 suites that are the perfect size for various businesses of different kinds that we are lacking. And the proximity to hotels may be desirable for future tenants. While it has always been greatly desirable for any city to gain brick or stone buildings, as they tend to age well aesthetically and last long physically, and thus hold high value, it's unknown how this fiber cement paneling and metal siding architecture will stand the test of time. However, we don't see a way to reject this overall architectural style, and the city would greatly benefit from these 5 new retail spaces on one shared lot. If a lack of parking ever becomes an issue, there's plenty of room to expand on this lot anyway. So as this will have a second proposed phase that will have to come back to the planning commission anyway. So overall, approval is recommended by the planning staff upon the condition that the developer follows all drainage recommendations from the city engineer afterwards. And so I have the possible motion up there mentioning all this, and that concludes the presentation.
All right, thank you. Does any of the commissioners have a question for our director?
I do. I noticed there's a lot of information here, but no information really about what kind of material it's supposed to be. Have you addressed that with the builders? 'Cause
Yes,
we need to go
so
to-
we did talk to the developer about it. I just simply wrote in the report the fiber cement material. It's a very common material nowadays. If you look at most small to medium-sized commercial buildings, if you look at most fast food restaurants, they have this these pieces that you can just put on the side and kind of connect it together like puzzle pieces. As of now, they seem to do great in the weather. They seem to do great in the extreme heat, extreme cold. You can wash them easily. As far as like how it actually is built and made, I don't know. Y'all might know more about that material.
Been around.
And
So I got a question for you, Andrew. What material was being used on the warehousing that's there on Nail Road that the Wilson management
I
is?
believe it's the same kind of material.
I thought it looked very much the same as what
Yeah,
we're using.
it's what's going up on the Chipotle. It's what's pretty much all the recent fast food places we've approved. That's the material they're going with, and it comes in different colors. It can mimic different materials aesthetically. It can look like wood. It can look like cement. It can look like brick. Did that answer your question, or did you need more?
Yes, but I also have another question.
Okay, go ahead.
Can it be put, you mentioned that you wanted the left and right side of the fiber cement to resemble the front.
So yes, if you go to the page 4, Billy. This right here, this facade you're seeing is what will face Expressway Drive. And so that right side will have that fiber cement siding, and then on the left side is the metal paneling. What we were wanting to bring up was the fact that we consider them two vastly different architectural styles. If the Planning Commission decides this itself is its own architectural style, then y'all can approve that. But if y'all decide these are two different architectural styles that don't blend with each other, you can absolutely make it a point to have this change.
We want it to be consistent. That's-
All right, any other questions for our director? All right, does anybody have any questions for the applicant?
I do. Can you hold up that picture you showed us on Monday night? Maybe it might help get a better visual, because it looks really, really nice in that picture.
So, now, where was this built before, or is this just a rendering?
This is a rendering,
Oh, okay.
but it's supposed to be as close to,
Yeah,
how
yeah.
printers are, how printers are and everything else, but it's supposed to be real close. And then this would be the side, if you're concerned. It would be just like the buildings at 1206, the metal panels that were, right around the corner.
Yeah, okay. Do we have any other questions for the applicant? Do we have any other conversation? All right, do we have a motion?
I'll make the motion, but before I make it, I have a question. Does any of us agree to make it consistent, or is it okay with the metal panel on the
The
side?
thing about it is I think this is the new styling of architecture. We, like I mentioned, I know around the corner where the other development is on L Road, just around the corner from this, it looks a lot like what he's proposing, and we approved it with no problem. So I just think personally think this is a new style, and I think it's all encompassing, even though we're using two different types of material. I think this is the design of where architecture is going for future. I think it's a little, it makes it cost effective, and it still has the aesthetics.
I'm not worried about cost effective. I'm worried about it blending in and looking good, so everything coming after.
No, I
It
know, and
looks
I'm just
good
saying
'cause that
aesthetically,
area-
I think it meets both things. It's cost effective for the people building, so we can get new businesses into Horn Lake, but it's also aesthetically consistent with other things that we've approved in the city.
It's not pleasing to me, but anyway.
And you also said that you want to help attract, like, maybe like a medical office building, like a home health or hospice, like something like that. So this would be nice, because like we had talked, there's not anything like that in Horn Lake right now either. So this would be very nice to have something right there, close to the interstate.
So this is a very unique location, is what I would call it. And we're building this building, it's kind of different than any buildings that we have built and that are around, that it's retail, it could go retail, some retail, it could go, let's say, industrial, but there's a big need right now for larger medical, quote, quote, uses in the market, from home health to all those things, and we wanted to make an attractive building that wasn't just a metal building or just you see some of these, like, there was one tenant I put in a building over on 1206 on Nail Road over there, and they were a medical supplier to the hospital, and they needed roll-up doors. So they were in and out with equipment, and they were an equipment supplier, like all the sonograms and some of that type of equipment and stuff like that. So we see that this location is a great asset to Horn Lake to be able to be this close to the hospital, and that is one of the key things to kind of get everything off airways and pull some more services back to Horn Lake too, so that we're hitting all that type of customer base, from being, if it is a warehouse / type medical user / supplier of the hospital, or whatever that looks like. But something that we could go with a lot of glass in the front too and make it attractive and bringing that clientele in.
Mr. Six.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Jim.
So as of now, you don't know who will lease out the building, right?
No, we don't have
So
anybody.
there's no promises or no agreement already with the medical
I
facility?
have zero at all. But, I mean, if I had it, last week, I had a home health call me, need 3,000 square feet. We don't have the building. We don't have currently the buildings. The only thing that's available is the big tower that Baptist just built right there on site in the Bolt building, right behind Home Depot. I don't have anybody, because we hadn't gotten approved and can't get any expectations on when we can deliver.
I just want to make sure it's clear, like, right now, it's still open.
Absolutely. We're open for business, but we can't make any promises at this point. And to address the drainage issue, I know, that Blake Mendroff or Greg Russell had called, and talked to Vince to see if it was approved, or they were headed in the right direction, right? And they had conversations already, so I feel like we're good there.
It looks like it'll be solid. The reason I made it such a point now, and it's gonna be coming up in a lot of, all the other staff reports for everything else. We're starting to get a lot of complaints on flooding issues in the city.
Yeah.
And we're down to the last bit of developable land in the city. And so, we're having to pay extra attention to, all water issues. And so I know that the land right across the property line is, on the south side is all vacant. I know, like, we got the gas stations and all that up there, but, we did want to get some clarification. And I know we'll probably discuss all the drainage stuff after the meeting.
That's fine.
But, we wanted clarification on that drain pipe at that southwest corner, how exactly that's connecting outward to the other property. Bill, can you go down to the drainage? Oh, and also on the surface of the lot, we do want clarification eventually on, is any of this water gonna go into a grate and then piped out, or is it just going straight onto the expressway drive? And if y'all ever got calculations on the volume of water, currently in our regulations, like we don't have like a checklist asking you for the volume of water that comes off, but we're just wanting to know if y'all ever got any calculations like that.
I wasn't aware of it. I know that, Greg or Blake had a conversation with Vince, and
Okay.
they were, that's above my.
And very close to this, on the south side, we have Horn Lake Creek going through the woods. And so I know all the water is eventually going in the correct direction. We're very comfortable with the direction the water's going. But, we'll talk to Neil Schaefer more about capacity.
Yeah.
of that.
I'll let them work that out. I mean, that's above me, making that right, whatever.
Do we have any other discussion? Do we have a motion?
Oh, I'll make a motion. After review of case number 2025-038, the Planning Commission approves the request for the site plan as presented in this report by applicant Susan Stout Architect LLC on parcel number 10873602000000600, approximately 1.73 acres, on the condition that the city engineer approve the drainage plans and that the developer follows any advised changes to those plans, and on the condition that the developer comes back to the Planning Commission for approval on any building in the Phase 2 area shown on the plan.
All right, we got a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Do we have any other discussion? All right, let's do roll call, please.
Commissioner Vidal,
Yes.
Commissioner Freeman,
Yes.
Commissioner Stokes,
Yes.
Commissioner Carter, yes.
All right, the motion passes. So thank you all on that. All right, do we have any other business that we need to on this special meeting?
No.
Okay, do we have a motion to adjourn? What?
To mention I believe, June 9th.
Oh, okay, yeah, so we'll have another special meeting, a special meeting of the planning department on June 9th at 6 PM to go over the other cases that were originally scheduled for Monday, the 19th of May. And then we'll discuss those at that time, and we'll still have our regular meeting on June 30th at 6 o'clock. All right, so do we have a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
A second?
Second.
All right, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed have the same? All right, we're adjourned.